electrification of the automobile is really beginning to heat up. On this edition of Test Drive, the Honda Clarity plug-in hybrid. The Honda Clarity is far from new. The fuel cell-powered derivative has been whirring around California since 2010. What is new is the plug-in hybrid powertrain. The result is a roomy, if somewhat controversially styled ride with space for 4 adults and little in the way of compromise. This Clarity is a pretty roomy car. You've got plenty of room for 2 adults in the back seat, just don't try a third. And when you open the trunk, this is where you'll find the only real compromise. There is a large hump in the trunk floor. Beneath it sits the gas tank. That knit aside, you still have 439 litres of cargo space, along with split folding rear seats. At the heart of the Clarity is a 1.5 litre Atkinson cycle 4-cylinder, 2 electric motors and a large 17 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery. The gasoline-powered engine produces 103 horsepower and 99 pound-feet of torque. The electric motor delivers another 181 horsepower and 232 pound-feet of torque, anywhere between 0 and 2,000 RPM. The combination gives the driver access to 212 horsepower. Where the Clarity differs from most hybrids is the fact it's really an electric vehicle with a gasoline range extender and power enhancer. There are 2 important numbers when it comes to this Honda Clarity. The first is the acceleration. The early entry of the torque from the electric motor and the gasoline engine means that you can run to 100k in just under 9 seconds, which is pretty good for a hybrid. The other important number is fuel economy. This thing does all of that while sipping 5.6 litres per 100 kilometres on average. Under normal driving conditions, the electric motor powers the Clarity. However, if the battery gets low, the engine fires up and powers a generator to feed the battery or drive the motor. The engine really only drives the vehicle under sustained cruising conditions. It's more efficient for the engine to direct drive the car than it is to act as a generator to recharge the battery. At the bottom of the accelerator pedal is a detent. Pushing through the detent then sees the engine chip in and give the electric motor's performance a needed shot in the arm. The cabin of this Clarity can be summed up in 2 words. Elegant simplicity. Very nice materials, all the information you need is readily accessible, and you've got a decent infotainment system that supports both Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. The one nit to pick: where's the knob to control the volume? It's on a slider. They fixed that on the Civic, fix it on the Clarity. The Clarity balances ride comfort with the need to control body roll nicely. The battery's placement keeps the centre of gravity low, and so the Clarity feels balanced and planted. Throw in a solid steering setup and P235 45R18 tyres, and the Clarity fairly whips through a corner. The suspension also does a pretty good job of masking the Clarity's mass. It tips the scales at a hefty 1,843 kilograms. Finally, regenerative braking plays a very big role. Thankfully, the brake pedal has some semblance of feel, and there are paddle shifters to allow the driver to pick the level of electric motor braking. It works well, but it's far from being a one-pedal drive. This new Honda Clarity is a sorted proposition. It's got a very nice cabin, it handles very nicely in spite of its 4,000 pound plus curb weight, and it's got more horsepower than most of its peers. But all of that pales in comparison to one thing: fuel economy.
If you're watching this on Facebook, make sure you like and share us, and also make sure you check out our ongoing contest to win lots of swag from Motoring TV and our sponsors. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe. 30 years of Motoring TV, a virtual automotive video goldmine at your fingertips.